And also I've had another example of how important it is to have somebody knowledgeable about the oil and gas industry and its ramifications. Knowledge of the law and knowledge as to how that law affects us. I cite the example of what happened last session, 2015, with Representative Clay Schneckschneider's House Bill 514. If you would go to the April 28th Civil Law Committee and look at around 1 hour and 47 minutes and see what happened on that bill. At that bill, the hearing on it, there were two people that showed up besides me to oppose that bill. One was a representative of the State Bar Association, and another was a guy who has a few of the legacy site lawsuit cases. Neither one of those saw any need for the bill because in reality in the legacy suits arena, they were already doing what the law required. And the representative of the oil and gas industries, they were the people who were behind that bill. They were the ones who wanted that bill passed. And nobody else could figure out what was going on. And I really tried to educate the Democrats as to what potential consequences that bill would have had if it became law for the state of Louisiana. And I urge you to go to 1 hour and 47 minutes into that committee and you'll see what happened there. In a nutshell, however, what industry was about to do at a time when we have a shell-shocked Attorney General who can't even stand and fight against a bill that would do horrible harm to the state. What industry was trying to do is shove down a quiet, good-sounding bill that on the surface seemed like it was something that everybody could go along with. In reality, it was one that would have allowed industry to escape consequences of tremendous proportions for damage that they would have been doing in the state and maybe even already have done. Buddy Caldwell couldn't explain the bill. Once Buddy Caldwell found out that I was going to be there, he pulled his representatives back and let me do the talking. I can tell you that the bill did get out of committee, unfortunately, by a vote of 11-0. By the time it made it to the House floor, there were a couple of representatives that probably had learned of its consequences because I had written to them about it. And I'm proud to say our party's endorsee for governor is one who opposed the bill at that point in time. But nevertheless, it did pass by a vote of, I think, 78-11. I took it upon myself to educate folk in the Senate, including one senator who used to be on the state mineral board. And I believe by that time, people probably understood some of the absolute horrible potential consequences for that bill. And it was ultimately defeated. So I would urge you to also look at the testimony at the Senate on that as well and find out what happened there. But it's stuff like that that you'll see that potentially could have cost this state billions of dollars. Sounded like a good measure to pass. But very few, except industry insiders, and I hate to say it, guys like yours truly. And I can tell you now, 2 gubernatorial candidates, and I don't know whether they got involved to derail it or not, but it certainly was derailed, and I'm glad it was derailed, and we can breathe a little easier. But we need somebody as an Attorney General who understands the importance of defeating legislation like this. Matter of fact, I would urge our legislators to any time we have the Attorney General opposing a measure to require fiscal notes that will explain in detail the consequences to the state and litigation that the state is involved in on bills that the Attorney General opposes. That would have been a horrible consequence there. And that's the kind of thing that I, as Attorney General, know how to stop and will do. Thank you for hearing me on that one.